Hi, my name's Dr. Simpson and I'm an elite performance coach, and thanks for finding my YouTube channel. Now, I also have a podcast channel called the Zen Doctor, and in a recent episode I talked about hypnosis. Not in any great depth, but it seemed to interest quite a lot of people, and I had a number of inquiries. Could I please talk a little bit more about self-hypnosis? And that's what this video is going to be about. Well, there's no doubt that hypnosis is a controversial subject. It has the people who think this is incredibly powerful, and there are others who think that it's an evil skill of manipulation. Well, I definitely use hypnosis therapeutically, and I do find it powerful. And to me, it's just one of the many ways of connecting more closely to our unconscious mind. Because when we're thinking about performance, whatever that might be at sport, might be at work, might be making presentations, in your relationships, then the more closely you can connect to your unconscious mind, the smoother and easier things are going to be. So as far as I'm concerned, I would love to spend the whole of my life in a light semi-hypnotic state. But of course that's not possible. Reason being, just like everybody else inside here, I've got a brain and a conscious mind and an ego that is hell-bent on its own agenda. So how can we quieten down our ego and our conscious mind? Well, people have tried yoga. People do use yoga, and that's very effective. People use meditation, and that's very effective. People use breathing techniques, and yes, they're effective as well. So where does self-hypnosis fit in here? To be quite honest, I think that self-hypnosis could be put in the same bundle as all the other things that I've mentioned. It's just a different technique. Now, how can we get into a self-hypnotic state? Many different ways. You'll have noticed when you're driving a car, maybe at night, a long empty road, and your mind is drifting away, and you suddenly look at the clock or your watch, and you see that an hour's passed and it felt like 5 minutes. Well, that's time distortion. That is what the athletes call being in the zone, and that's definitely a semi-hypnotic state. And some people find staring at a fixed point a great way to enter this state. People sometimes stare at a candle. When I'm working with cameras, I stare straight at the lens, and I keep as still as possible. Now, I'm talking now, but if I was trying to get into a semi-hypnotic state or a meditative state, I would be sitting absolutely still, and I'd be absolutely quiet, and I'd be aware that I must keep, even like my tongue still, and the only thing that will be moving is my chest as I breathe. Which brings me on to breathing. How can that help us? Well, if we breathe a little more deeper than usual and a little more slowly than usual, then sooner or later we're going to get into a state of mind, because the heart and the head are going to follow each other. And indeed, that's the basis of the heart math technique that I've talked about before. And the science between heart math is increase your heart rate variability, and you increase the connection between your heart and your mind, and you find that still spot in your mind. So those are a few ways of finding the self-hypnotic state. Other ones that people use are do anything creative. Anything that absorbs your concentration, and again into the times distortion, the same as when you're driving a car. And I think that's probably enough for now. I mean, if you have comments, feel free to post them, and maybe I'll make a follow-up video. But I wanted to keep this as simple as possible. There's quite a few tips in here, and so why don't you go away and experiment with some of these things in a safe environment, of course, and see how you get on. And just remember, the more you can connect to your unconscious mind, the better you're going to perform with a lot less stress. And there's certainly too much stress out there at the moment. Okay, so thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.